Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Making It Happen show.
Awesome.
I'm Matt Zimmer. I'm here with Lynda Joyce Brown.
That's me.
Hi, Lynda.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's great.
Good?
I like
We are
it.
here in beautiful Irvine, California.
Yep.
Site of our upcoming MedTech Monthly next Wednesday. If you're in Irvine, come check us out.
Yeah, definitely.
Should
It'll
be
fun.
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here today. Episode 2 feels about like episode 10. But I wanted to talk today and kind of talk about maybe a little more a deeper issue of maybe what we talked about last time.
Okay.
But really talk about knowing your market and knowing the importance of your market and really how you define your market really affects your sales approach and depending on who the market is, really affects a lot of the underlying specifics associated with kind of how you get to that kind of customer base.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to go through that a little bit.
Okay.
All right?
Got
So
it. I'm ready. Fasten my seatbelt.
So, and we're going to do that. We talk about our company because a lot of this is, us figuring out who we are as a company. So, I think the easiest way to start off talking about this is maybe talking about who our market is and defining what they demand and how we kind of, position ourselves to fill their needs.
Okay.
So when I think about who our market is, and their specific needs. Our market, we're a marketing company.
Right.
We provide a portfolio of services for marketing, and really our customer is, this is very simple, but our customer is in need of those services, right? We need to be providing a product that's in need and demanded, and what we've kind of positioned is the customer base that we're going after are highly technical businesses that, because of that technicality, traditional kind of marketing approaches don't work. And when I say traditional, I kind of mean twofold. One, a lot of traditional marketing, maybe event marketing for these companies, Keynotes, that type of stuff. As well as digital marketing, so social media posts, that type of stuff, don't really work in the marketplace. And one of the reasons they don't work is the technical information that they need to get out there to reach their customer base is a lot.
Right. Absolutely.
So from a digital standpoint, digital media caters to instant, ephemeral, bite size.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that you can't get the whole message out.
Right.
And then, a more traditional like keynote type of approach, one of the reasons why that doesn't work is simply the amount of work required to make that successful isn't normally something, these companies are willing to put in and probably shouldn't.
Right.
Because of how much kind of...
And that's not their expertise. Their expertise is delivering the information.
Right.
Not creating the keynote.
Right.
event.
Not creating that kind of that environment.
Right.
Where they can actually, sell themselves. So, so that's who our customer is. It's highly technical businesses that, have this, those types of products or services. And then what I'm finding that they demand, and I'd like to hear your opinion on what you think they're demanding of us. But what I feel like they're demanding is really someone to fill all those gaps.
Right.
And I think, what I've learned, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, is, initially we were very niche and we were saying, hey, we're gonna be very, specifically focused on just putting on events.
Right.
And I know we talked about this earlier, but by wedging that open and saying, you know what, we're listening to our customer. Mm-hmm. What that customer is telling us is that really what I want and need is a one-stop shop.
Right.
So we haven't really necessarily changed the structural nature of our business, but how we present it is, a lot more holistic. And instead of just saying, hey, we provide event marketing, our customers are demanding, hey, I want somebody to handle all of this.
Right.
And they understand that, hey, we think an event forward approach is the way to market your type of business. But we can kind of do everything else as well. And by doing that, we create kind of this envelope of really holistically everything makes sense. And you're not getting 5 different messages, from a digital strategy and a
right, totally.
website and a whatever. So everything's kind of cohesive in nature. I guess I'd like to hear, from your perspective, what your thought is on what customers are demanding and kind of how we've shifted our focus, to kind of meet some of those needs.
What I feel is when you're an expert in your field, you want to be surrounded with other people who are experts in their field. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody who narrows it down for you. So for example, we've aligned ourselves with the knowledge to present all these different areas in our event planning, our digital marketing, whatever. We align ourselves with the best of the best. And so we can narrow down their work. That makes sense. Does
Sure.
that make sense?
Sure.
So kind of like cut to the chase, because how many times have you maybe gone to a hotel and said, where's the best pizza in town? And they've been to all of the pizza places in the 5-mile radius, and they'll narrow it down for you. Because really, that's what we are. We will narrow it down, the best of the best, and which we are. And
sure, that's an interesting. It's almost like the reason they're coming to us is.
We've done all the legwork. We've done the
legwork and
testing.
And the customer base that we're going after recognizes us as experts.
Right.
And that's really what we think that our track record establishes ourselves as experts, and therefore we're looking for customers that trust that opinion, and frankly not looking to fight with people that don't think we're experts. That's not where we want to spend our time and effort.
Right.
Convincing people.
Right. So for example, this morning at the event that we attended, someone asked, well, why Matt? Why you? Why us? And I said, well, he has 10 years of been there, done that, lived it, experienced it, made a mistake, made a correction, made a shift. And that person said, oh, never thought that thought. Yeah, that's great. I would love those 10 years of entrepreneurship experience.
Sure.
In my court, so to speak.
Sure. So when you, in your past, I know Lynda's past, for those of you that didn't watch the last episode, right. Basically sales at Nordstrom and Mary Kay. Mm-hmm. I know, I think while you've been at Nordstrom probably already had or always had some amount of brand recognition. Is that fair?
Right.
So I think what you said though is at some point there, Mary Kay, maybe not with everybody, the brand maybe didn't resonate with everybody.
Right.
How did you, I think it seems like a lot of businesses today, where they spend their money is going with the tried and true. So you go with Google, you go with Facebook for advertising because that's who you know. Mm-hmm. For companies that are not brand forward, mm-hmm. we don't have a brand, right? Maybe we're trying to establish a brand, but we don't. Today we don't have a brand, so we can't really leverage that brand to be successful. How do you get around that? How do you sell to someone and convince somebody that they should buy from you when you can't say I'm Google?
Right, that's a good point. It's a good question. What I convey to them is my life experiences of what I've done, the successes that I've had, and how I achieved them. Basically, by listening to my customer.
So you're relying on kind of personal brand. So you're selling yourself in some respect.
Right, and selling your
sure,
qualities.
whether it's me or whether it's
Yeah.
you, but you're using experience because the company doesn't have experience.
Right.
You're kind of leveraging
The people I've met along the way and the life choices they've made and the decisions and the outcomes.
sure.
Because I feel like I've been there, I've seen it, I don't want to make that mistake again, or I want that success again, really. And so I go and
Yeah.
duplicate that.
So I like I guess my experience my experience with that is sometimes that that's like a hot or cold issue for people. Like some
Sure.
people will see you and immediately like grasp on and be like,
Right.
I love what you're saying.
Right.
And you're telling me you have this amount of experience that keys in on their ear and they're like, absolutely.
Right.
And some people they're averse to it and
Right.
it's like, I don't believe anything you're telling me.
Sure.
Like the results, almost the results have to deliver. I think
Absolutely.
from a startup standpoint, you got a limited amount of time.
Right.
Going towards the former and saying, hey, not that the latter, the people that are maybe less immediately trusting, not to say that they aren't potential customers,
Right.
but to say that they're maybe not the customers we should be focusing on today
Right.
is an important kind of thing to recognize, and figuring out and slicing and dicing those customer segments really quickly
Right.
is really important to kind of maximize your effectiveness over the amount of time that you can spend on that activity.
Right. So get to the yes quicker or the no quicker and move on quicker. That's
Sure.
what I feel like where we are right now is this a good fit for you?
Sure.
And no harm, no foul, no offense.
Sure.
If they're not ready to take a chance on how much to spend to grow their company, maybe they're not ready.
Sure.
And I get that.
So do you like as we're thinking through this, I'm thinking about price.
Right?
Usually price is kind of a good trigger for yes or no, right?
Correct. Of
But
course.
I would argue it's not the first. It's actually not the first yes or no.
Yes or no in price or yes or no in growth?
From companies that you should be investing time on.
Right.
Like a company could say yes on price, but they could say no on working with somebody that doesn't have an established brand.
Okay.
I would argue that it's easier to find a company that says, I like if the first yes is I like you as a person and I'm willing to work with you, and them justifying the price that it costs to work with you is likely easier than finding somebody that says, I've got the money
Right.
and you're a match for my money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
As
get
far
that.
as like which place to attack first, I don't know. What do you like? What do you find? Where's the no usually come from, or where does the yes usually come from first? Is it coming from a place of I like what you're saying, or is it coming from a place of let's just cut to the numbers, or is it all over the map?
What I feel like people say, well, tell me more. Give me more information.
So what do they say when they say tell me more? They're saying tell me more to
A yes.
to what question though? Or what are you talking about? Are you talking about who you are? Are you talking about the product, or are you talking about how much the product costs? Or maybe my question is what is kind of the order of attack that you kind of go in to actually take someone through the sales cycle? Are you starting with, hey, let me just lead with price?
No.
Because I know
No.
because I'm going to weed out as many people as possible, or like what is kind of that order that you're from a high level? I'm not asking
Right.
specifics.
So usually I want to know if it's a connection, if I want to work with the person. Because if I don't even want to work with the customer or the person, I don't want them as a customer.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I start. Are we in the same tribe? Are we in the same country? Are we in the same ballpark? Whichever, what do you want to call it?
I guess to the engineer's ear, what I'm hearing you say is, you need to like working with them, but really it's passing that personal test on.
Right.
Are we speaking the same language?
Do we have the same value system? I mean, how many times have you talked to someone and their ethics are whoa?
Which to me, that's passing that test of, do they did your personal brand kind of work, or how, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, did that initial sell of like, hey, this is who I am as a person.
Right.
Did we pass that phase?
Right. And so for me, if I'm talking to a man and he doesn't respect women, maybe that's not the kind of customer I want.
You're probably not even right, and you're probably not going to be able to land the sale anyways.
No,
so
and
it's
I know
not
that.
Worth it.
And I get it, but I feel like the world is changing now.
Sure.
But if they don't even pass the integrity of human to human,
sure,
and if they're not human, I don't want to work with them. And so it goes both ways. Do you want to work with me, and do I want to work with you? Which sounds kind of snobby or unkind. I don't know what the right word would be, but
no, but somebody that you don't want to work with, or somebody that you don't want to work with, the amount of cost,
energy.
I would, energy. My term, cost.
Yeah.
It's just not worth. You can't pay me enough to work with that person. I don't want your money.
Right.
I'd rather be whatever altogether in my head than wasting time on, this person that isn't respecting me in the way that I deserve to be respected.
To me, it's almost like a good versus evil. Disneyland's made a lot of money off of good and bad.
Sure.
And so I feel, I know it's crazy, but Cinderella, she wins, right?
Yeah.
But good always, everybody wants, I feel like right now the brand is, let's be good, let's be equal, let's be fair, let's be kind. Like, there's all kinds of sayings.
Sure.
And our blood all runs red, and so we're all human. And so I feel like that's the kind of customer I'm landing first, is the human one, the one that we all like. Now, you and I have difference of opinions, and we look at things differently, but at the end of the day, we still like each other. I might disagree with you, and obviously Matt does disagree with me on lots of things. But bottom line is, I can trust you, you can trust me, and I want our customers to know that they can trust us.
I think that's super. We sell on trust.
Right.
We
bottom line.
Establish ourselves as we're trustworthy people. We want to work with trustworthy people.
Right.
To be honest, the reason we're able to do what we can do at the cost we're able to do it is because of that trust.
Right. Absolutely.
And if we have to put time and effort and money in patching all that trust together, what we're doing is going to be insanely expensive. So by working with, by using trust as kind of a combiner, the amount of excess waste that we're able to get out of the system, allows us to really establish a strong price point and be able to offer, a really good service at a really good price.
Right, because bottom line, we're not going to align ourselves with people who aren't trustworthy.
Sure.
Or the concierge at the hotel that's going to say the pizza place, he's going to guide you to, or she's going to guide you to the best pizza place, because they're going to treat you kind, honest, and then people are going to come back to the hotel and say thank you, make a good Yelp review, whatever. But bottom line is, we're aligning ourselves with trustworthy people.
Sure.
And we really have their back. The customers, the clients, their back.
Sure.
So that comes to why is marketing so important? That's my question for you.
Why is marketing important? So when I think of a lot of people, when we think about a customer funnel, so we talk about a customer sales funnel.
Right.
I think I would actually say that it's really a sales and marketing funnel. And I think we actually have the order incorrect. I think it's marketing and sales, not sales and marketing.
Got it.
I believe that marketing comes before sales, and really the purpose of marketing is to get past that initial who are you? What are you talking about? I'm not sure if I should trust you or not.
Right.
And it's the purpose of marketing is to establish some amount of trust in the community so that I don't have to waste so much damn effort
Right.
convincing you that I am a trustworthy person.
Right.
Because, and so it's, the purpose of marketing, or why marketing is important, is really to lubricate the sales process.
Right.
And you really need to, even from a new company, startup company perspective, like you don't have that at the beginning, so you're not, and you're not going to be able to get it until you kind of go out and do it. Which is, fine. That's why a startup is hard. It's hard to kind of generate that. But you need to be thinking about that at the very beginning.
Right.
Because if you don't, it's very hard to recover it kind of once you haven't done it. And once your sales process is out in front of, your marketing, you've really already established your marketing. Like
Right.
that is your marketing.
Right.
It's what you're doing for your sales process. So, I think marketing is really the coat of paint. And does the coat of paint make the car run? No, it doesn't. But is it important?
Yeah.
Some people would say yes. Some people would say
You
no.
don't want
Some
an ugly
people
car.
some people are cool riding around with a ding car, and some people can figure out how to make that work for them. And there are different levels of how important is marketing. But that's how I kind of look at marketing. It is really. It's that coat of varnish that you're putting on, and if you have a heavily branded business, marketing up front is super, super, super important.
Right.
And if you're a very, very, very technical company, having that up front may be less important, but that doesn't mean it's not important. It's just, okay, when do we put our resources in? How do we,
Right.
It's just a different mindset, which is why the way we approach marketing is very different for our customer set than, we were talking about this earlier, than somebody like a beer brand.
Right.
Our approach is likely not going to work for them. I'm not going
Right.
to say it doesn't work for, I don't want to turn away customers, so,
That's
hey,
right.
beer brand, you can come talk to us.
That's for sure.
But the likelihood, it's a lower likelihood.
Right.
With the personnel at that company, with how they're approaching the market, with their price structure, the likelihood is that we're not as not as good of a fit versus these other companies. That's specifically what we've structured our business for, and therefore we're likely to be a better fit. Did that answer your
I think
your
so.
question?
So, and it leads me into, why do you feel companies don't value marketing? Is it because they don't understand marketing or the concept of marketing? Like they have money for the building and the product and the employees, but then I
Sure.
think they forget sometimes.
No, I don't know. I think I think it comes back to trust. If you're, the people that tend to not value marketing are we're going
Right.
after the hardest market, by the way,
Right.
Linda.
Great.
It's because they are super technical and they
Right.
think that.
Because their product is so great that they don't need to.
That's right.
Right.
When
Okay.
the reality is the people that you're selling to likely, and this is not every single business, not every single industry, but the people that you're likely selling to are going to care a lot less about your technical importance than you
Right.
do.
Right.
And dumbing that business down, that's marketing.
Right.
So at some point those businesses will realize, hey, I need to dumb this thing down. And you can go about it two ways. One, you could pay an outside company to help you and support you, or you can spend the time and effort to do it yourself. And
Right.
neither one is right or wrong.
Right.
What you're really paying for by hiring a third-party company is time. It's,
Right.
hey, I need somebody to help me, and I need them to help me quickly because
Right.
my business is ready to go,
Right.
and I'm ready to take it to the next level. Or if you can do it internal,
Right.
don't pay anybody.
Right.
You'd be dumb to. So
Right.
that's I think those are the types of companies that
Okay.
that put less importance on marketing. Is to be honest, it is less important, but it doesn't mean it's not important at some point.
So-
There isn't a company out there in the Fortune 500 that hasn't spent money on branding.
Right.
It doesn't exist.
Right. Of course.
And in fact, the most valuable companies in the world,
Right.
have a great brand.
Right.
Because it gets past, is this a quality company? Should I be doing business with them? Oh, of course. It's Apple.
Right.
Of course I should.
Right. It's back to, do you have time on your hands?
Sure.
So when you come to town, do you have time to go to all 10 pizza restaurants to find the best pizza? No.
Maybe, maybe not.
That's true, maybe. So it's best just to, I think, pay the experts. So that's what I think marketing's about. So I'm always learning every day. For example, it's kind of crazy when my kids went to kindergarten, the teacher held up signs. So the picture of Apple, that was Apple, and pictures of a candy bar. And she says, oh, you guys can read. So even kindergartners who can't read can read.
Sure.
Of famous brands. So branding is important. However, how long do you want to take to get there? We can create a shortcut, I feel.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think that's kind of everything we wanted to cover.
Yep.
You got any other final thoughts?
No, it's good.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on Making It Happen, and hope to see you in the next episode.
Absolutely.
Have a good day, Linda.
You too.
All right. Bye.